What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Leveled Up Life podcast. As always, Branamier, Courtney, here with my main man, Paul McClain.
What up, big dog?
Helping people level up their life in all the areas that matter most: faith, family, fitness, finance, franchise. Come on, it's almost the end of the year. Christmas is right around the corner. Helping people level up, man. It's a weird time of the year for me. It's like I'm super busy, but I was telling someone this last night. I also feel like super calm. Like, I don't know what it is, dude. It's just like a peace, like around this season, you know?
Yeah.
Like, kids are good, family's good, everyone's kind of healthy right now. Like, things are happening, bro.
You look peaceful.
I'm trying to get peaceful,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Well,
You look peaceful. When I saw you, I felt more peaceful just
felt
looking
that?
at you. Hey, by the way, get some peaceful people around
Come
you.
on.
If you're in a state of chaos, right? Sometimes you just need somebody that can come in and be like,
Well,
man,
dude,
their energy, their
I'm
vibe,
drinking
everything.
tea, dude. That's why.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
drinking tea, dude. Something about
I had a triple shot espresso, man. I gotta get my
time
mind
to
right.
wake up. Time to wake up. Well, hey, this podcast is to help you find some peace and to give you some energy. Let's
Absolutely.
go. Let's go. Help you get to the areas in your life that you need to step up. I don't know how your year was. I don't know if you crushed all your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. You got to that next level. The truth is, you're here right now, right? So good, bad, or indifferent, you're at this place right here, right now for a reason. You have a decision to make. Am I going to go forward? Am I going to progress? Am I going to level up? Or am I going to stay where I'm at? And so our goal, our heart is to help you get to that next level. And today's podcast is no different.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man. Today's podcast, if somebody's saying, hey, what's the single biggest thing that's going to help me level up? Like, what would that be? What would those qualities, characteristics, disciplines, what would that be? We're going to cover that today.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that the difference between the next levels in somebody's life and the level that you're currently standing at, it's just simply habits. In fact,
I
love
thought you were going to say a
good
pill, something we could take, you know, or like a secret or something.
Well, hey, now in today's culture, like it almost seems like that, right? It's like, you know, instantly, right? You're gonna have the six pack, you're gonna have the best relationship, you're gonna have this, and the truth is, it takes work, man. And but the work is well worth it. And sometimes I feel like up front, if we knew how much work it was going to take, we might not take those steps to get to the next level. But in hindsight, as we look back, we always are more grateful, and it's a better, more blissful place than we ever thought it would have been, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we got to take each step by step to get across that gap. But dude, I believe, you know, Brand, today, what we're going to unpack is the very thing that will help you cross that gap. The person at the end of 2025, there'll be two different people. One person that says, man, I had these intentions, I had these goals, aspirations, and I'm kind of living them. Like, this feels good. Like, I've gotten here. I didn't know, I was hopeful. I thought it was going to happen, and it happened. And then there's somebody that, you know, had these good intentions, these good goals, and man, by March, they're already like, they haven't hit them. And so I kind of want to get out ahead of this thing.
Yeah.
And I know we spoke, we're like, man, let's make sure that we can deliver a message today that will really give somebody a blueprint, a roadmap to get from this level to that next level. And it's really going to be these habits. And so two things we'll unpack. One, why do most people miss their goals, right?
Yep.
Because that's what we're talking about. And I know you're thinking about it. It's the end of the year. You're thinking about some goals. You're thinking like, with my family, what's the one biggest thing I could do to make my family level up? With your faith, like, how can I get closer to God? How can I know God? How can I build a relationship more? And we unpacked that last week. Or maybe your fitness. You're like, man, I'd like to look a little better, feel a little better. Maybe I'm going to change some of the things I eat. Maybe I'm going to get up into the leveled up health center, whatever that is. You're looking at that, right? If it's your franchise or it's your finances, you're sitting back probably saying like, maybe I spend a little too much. Man, it'd be nice to kind of get into a rental house, you know, to get my first rental, to buy my first stock, to put a little bit into savings. And so those are the things that most people want to do. Why do they miss them? What are the three things that we're going to cover today? Those are going to be the things that help or cause that big miss. And then we're going to talk about how to build a habit. You know, successful people form the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do.
Come on.
And so what's the difference? Well, let's talk about the three things that'll hold you back and the three things that will get you there. And so I think this is going to be a big, powerful podcast, guys. I'll lean in, grab a notepad and take some notes because, man, we want to make this practical. I know, Brian, you said this quite a few times over the last year in this podcast, but you don't want to just be inspiration, man. We want to make sure that you take this and you actually see life change.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good in coming and listening, right? It's not about just the hearing, it's the going and doing, right? For me, yeah, I always tell the people at church, like, don't just come and listen. Don't just come and get your ears tickled. Don't just come and be motivated. Like, all this is for nothing if you don't take what we're talking about and actually go do it and apply it. And I don't know if this is where we're going to go today, but I think a lot of people, they, like you just said, they have similar goals, similar dreams, similar lifestyle aspirations, but a lot of people are just simply afraid of change. I think change
Yeah.
hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the what if. It's the fear of what if I fail. It's the fear of what are people going to think about me. And I think most people, if we're just being real honest, are like, hey, if nothing changes, like I'll be okay. Like my life is not where I want it, but it's not that bad. Right. I think most people kind of live in that weird middle awkward, like, well, if 2025 is like 2024, then it just is what it is. And I think people are just scared to like step out on the water, right?
Yeah.
They're scared to take that risk for whatever reason. But the truth is, like, if you do take that risk, or you do take that leap of faith, or you do try to level up and you fail, who cares? Like, you're right back where you're at right now. You're in the exact same position. So you might as well go for it. I think when I started my business, when we started the church, when I did anything that I felt like was going to get me to that next level, that next place, that next goal, it was never easy.
Yeah.
It was never comfortable. It was never, I was never like super overly confident in it. It was always a little fear. There's always a little doubt. There's always like a little, like, whatever that like human feeling is, right? And so I think people just have to understand that you're gonna feel that way no matter what. So you might as well try. You might as well go for it. And so hopefully this podcast is that nudge. Like, maybe you're sitting on a wall right now thinking, man, should I start the business? Should I, write down that big lofty goal? Should I buy that rental? Hopefully this is just like that, dude. Just go for it. That's what we're trying to help you do. So,
Dude, I love that, bro.
3 things. Let's go.
Well, the big thing too that I want to say is, man, it's so easy. And man, I felt, I mean, I've been alive for 37 years. There's been a lot of those years. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm getting close to the 40, bro.
You seen that with Kevin Hart?
No.
Never mind.
Was it cold as balls? Or what
I don't know what it was. One of his friends said that, and he was like, "Dang."
Well, that's how I felt. You said it, I felt it. But it's like there's been a lot of years, man, where I kind of feel like I'm living at like a level, 6, right? And God's called us to level 10s in every area of our life, man. He didn't create nothing other than greatness and abundance for anybody. I mean, you're created in His image, and so, but there's easy times where it's easy to get comfortable, right, bro? And like, and now I'm living just like at a level 6, and maybe you've accomplished some of the goals that were big goals 6 years ago, but man, you've been living in those accomplishments from 6 years ago, right? And it's like, man, God didn't call you to rest and settle at the goal you had 6 years ago. Once you got there, the joy is in the journey, man. He wants you to step out and step over. And so, the crazy thing I found is like, man, it's such a paradox. Like, dude, when comfortability is a motivator, a lot of people are motivated to be, in fact, I think most people, myself included, it's easy to get motivated to stay comfortable. Like, you actually do things and find ways to stay comfortable. But man, life and the blissness of life and the joy of life is outside your comfort zone. And I just believe that, sometimes when you leave that 6 level, that's just kind of mediocre, just average, just blah, like you kind of lost passion, you lost zeal, right? Sometimes, man, if you take that risk and you drop down to like a 1, like it just falls apart, doesn't go the right way, man, you can't ever experience 10 moments unless you experience 1 moment. So that 1 moment is going to set you up to an experience a 10 moment. And I could just tell you, short-term 1 moments are well worth long-term 10 moments. For sure. And good. So the 6 is always going to just take you out and never going to give you the life that you've been called to. And so, but let's talk about it. Three things. First one is most people mess up because they focus on the what, not the how. And you kind of talked about it, Brandon. Like, it's like everybody wants to lose the weight. Everybody wants to make more money. Everybody wants a better relationship. But they're so focused on what it is, they're not focused on how to get there. And so really kind of sitting back, and for you, like even like launching the church, like when you started the church or started the business, you'd never done it before, so you didn't have something to go from. It was a first time. So the what was, man, I want a thriving church that's going to make a big difference and impact in this community and bring people to God. The business was, I want to have something that's going to be impactful. It's going to generate revenue and time and freedom. The what's there, but how did you develop the how, like the process, the how to get there?
That's good. I think that a lot of people overthink things. I think we live in information overload. I think that most people suffer from Google. I don't know the right term for it, but they just Googling everything, and what Google ends up doing is not giving you answers, but making you paralyzed.
It's good.
I think most people are trying to find a cheat code. I think most people have too many options. It's like dude, every night without fail, Like, dude, we turn on Netflix and we don't watch a movie because we search for 15 minutes and I fall asleep.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
too many options.
Yeah.
Or we pick one, we don't like it, and so we go back, we go to the next category. And dude, I promise you, 95% of the time, we don't watch more than 10 minutes of a
Yeah.
movie. And I think that's what most entrepreneurs do when it comes to starting a business, right? Dude, they know where the answers are: Google, ChatGPT, YouTube, podcasts, and we know all this information, but yet we don't do it because we can't pick how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one, you just gotta get simple. Like, stop overthinking it. Like, come up with one or two strategies and attack them.
Yeah.
Like, for me, dude, when it came to starting my business, I was like, I'm gonna print free business cards and I'm gonna go walk around the city and I'm gonna talk to people that own a business or that have an office that I can clean. Like, I didn't overthink it. I wasn't thinking about like the step 10 when I wasn't even at step 1.
Yeah.
And that's what most people do. Like, well, what about my website? What about my logo? What about my marketing? I'm like, dude, go get a customer first. And so number one, like, choose a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is. When it came to the church, it was the same thing. Like, hey, the why was there. Like, this is why we want to do it, but this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna start meeting once a week. We're gonna have a little Bible study. We're gonna talk about vision. We're gonna invite our friends there. Like, it was just simple stuff, right? So we just never got ahead of ourselves, and I think that's where most people fails. They try to get too far into the game without even, you know, having a customer or having a lead or having, like, oh well, dude, what's my Instagram gonna look like? Dude, don't worry about Instagram. Like, dude, talk to your friends and family, make some money first. So
So good,
keep
man.
it simple. Develop get one or two strategies. Get a mentor, right? Get a coach. Get someone who's levels ahead of you. So that was us. Like, when we were in the journey of starting the church, I was seeking mentorship. I was seeking people that were years ahead of me and that had a similar vision, like,
And values.
in values that I wanted to live, right? And so I would go to conferences, I would go to, pastors meetups, I would look for information and for coaches on how to start a church, but I wasn't all over the place, right? I found like one or two, and I was like, okay, these are my people. That's how I met Jeff. That's how I just connected with different people. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go do these things. I'm gonna not copy, but I'm gonna take what they've done and I'm gonna apply it to my personality, to our city, to the people that we serve. Because I think, again, what a lot of people do is they try to copy like a play of a big church or a big business or a big personality, and it's like, well, dude, you're not that.
Right.
So Joe Rogan could do stuff that we can't do.
Yep.
Like, dude, we can't do a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we would lose everyone. Like, we're not trying to pretend to be that, right? But it's like, hey, we could do an hour one and make it value packed, because that's us right now. And as we grow and mature, then things change. But I think people try to run a play that they're not even in the league of yet. I don't know if that makes sense.
Dude, it makes perfect sense, man. I didn't know what you were gonna say, but dude, I love what you said. I mean, I think
I
that
didn't know what I was gonna say.
well, dude, it was spot on, man. Because I think that is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And it's easy to fall into that in different, like, seasons of your business. Like, you might start your business in a way where you're kind of like just walking in faith, right? You're moving. You're like, all right, what's the number one thing I can do that's going to make the greatest impact in my progression of the business? And then you pencil it down and then you do it. And then a year can go by and all of a sudden you're stuck now overthinking things. And so it serves as such a great reminder. You're saying, and I'm reflecting on different businesses I've got and thinking, like, am I overthinking that? Have I been delaying, thinking I need to know more before I could do more? And it's just such an easy thing to get caught up in. And you'll figure it out, right? It's like, think about having a kid, man. I remember when I had my first kid 17 years ago. Payne's going to be 18. And I remember sitting there, dude. I was 19. And I mean, I had not even really become an adult yet. I was still like, a kid. And we were getting dispatched to leave, and I was like, look at the nurse, like, are you gonna come with us, or what? Like you're coming with us, right? Like, you're gonna help show us how to do this thing. And I was kind of messing with her, kind of not. She's like, no, I think you got this. I'm like, I don't know. I think you might need to come with us.
Yeah.
Just because up front, I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna take care of this kid? Like, I'm gonna kill it. Like, what am I gonna do? But you just figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the business, dude. Like, up front, I've always started thinking, like, about Peyton. Like, what am I gonna do when she's 5 years old? And what is she? When she's like 8 and she's talking back, like, how am I gonna handle that? Or when she gets her first boyfriend, like, do I sit down? Do I do like a bad boys 2 kind of scene?
Yeah,
Kind of like, how do I handle that? What's appropriate? Like,
jump
dude,
down.
you just don't know. If I try to figure all that out day one, dude, I'd have been like, I would have ran.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. But you just got to take that next best step. And so I love how you combined it though, bro, because you didn't just say like, go work, go get busy, let's take action, right? And action will cure most anything. But you did say also get somebody that can show you the way forward, and they could say step here, don't step there. Man, what confidence comes from that?
For sure.
When I know like that, hey, this person's gotten to the place I want to get to, and they're gonna look back and show me where to step, how to step, and what to do. I think that's beautiful, because some people try to get started, and they get started on their own thought process. And man, that's a lot of like falling down. You're gonna be bumping, you're breaking ankles, all kinds of stuff on the way to your next level, because you've got no clarity of where to step and how to step.
That's good.
You need somebody to spotlight it, and then you need to minimize the thoughts and just be coachable and say, this is what was said, then I'm gonna go do it, and let's just go move. And so, man, I think that was
great.
so powerful.
I think a lot of people too, because it really comes down to your identity, right? And when you're starting something, you really don't know who you are yet. Like as a senior pastor, I didn't know who I was. Like no idea. As an entrepreneur, I don't know who I am. As a dad, you don't know who you were as a dad. And so I think you can fall into one or two camps. You can try to pretend like you have your identity figured out. It's like, dude, this is who I am, and you really have no idea. Or you can draw an inspiration of an identity from people who are ahead of you, right? And so for me, in both my journey in faith and in business, it's been like not pretending like I'm not anything that I'm not. Like, dude, I'm not Furtick.
Right.
But dude, have I taken some inspiration from Furtick, from some of his messages, from the way that they lead? Of course, right?
Yeah.
Who hasn't, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to go out there and be like and try to preach like him, because that would be weird and awkward for not just me but for everyone involved, right? And so I think number one, just trying to go, all right, who am I right now, and who do I aspire to be? Like, what's my identity? And as you grow, like, your identity shifts and changes and matures, and there's some things that you thought you were that you're actually not, and there's some things that you thought you weren't that you actually are. And I think that just having an awareness that it's a process. I think just from a pastoral point of view, like, I don't know how true this is or not, but in the circles that I've been in, most pastors would say, like, you truly don't know who you are as a leader, as a preacher, as a communicator until you're about 7 years in. Like, and then once you get to that point, then like, that's your voice. Up until that point, you're kind of pulling thoughts and opinions from those you're following. And I tend to agree with that, and so it takes time to get there. Like, as a business person, it takes time to know who you are. I think a lot of people will try to copy their coach or copy their mentor, and then they find themselves not fulfilled, not getting the same results. Well, it's like, because you're not that person. It's like, you're you, so draw your strengths. Like, you were created uniquely. Like, you have a different background, a different story. So take their strengths, combine them with your strengths, and then become that thing, right? And so I think identity is a big part of it, and understanding like it has to mature and grow over time.
Well, that's point number 2, man. Like, I think most people, miss their the mark in getting that habit established because of a false identity, dude. It sabotages, right? And I think you're exactly right. You need to figure out what your identity is. But the reality is, most people live with also a false identity, and they think they are what they're actually not called to be.
Yeah.
Like, you think that you're just not good enough. Like, you think that you're just the person that is not a morning person. You think that you're just lazy. You think that you just can't get to place sometime. You think that you're just a person that just can't save, man. Like, no matter what it takes. Like, you think that, and the reality is that false identity will prevent you from getting to the higher levels and all of those things that you think. And it's no different than, I remember reading this book, and they said, if you go up to somebody, Brandon, and you're like, hey, like, are you still smoking cigarettes? And if you say, no, I'm no longer a smoker, right? That's one response. The other response could be, no, I'm actually trying to stop smoking. I haven't smoked a couple of days. I'm trying to stop smoking. Both have not smoked for a couple of days, but they say, like, the statistics of the person, they ran all the stats on it, like, that said, I'm no longer a smoker. And the person that says, I'm trying to stop smoking, I haven't smoked in a couple of days, I'm stopping smoking. Like, dude, it's so significant as far as the results. And it's just an identity thing. One person's like, I'm no longer that person. And if I'm no longer that person doesn't do what that person said. So if I'm no longer a smoker, I don't do smoker things. If I'm no longer the person that's lazy, I don't do lazy things. I don't
So
hit
so what
snooze.
do you, because I hear a lot of people say like when it comes to like addiction, and they're like, well, I'll always be an addict, but I no longer just do that thing. Like, what do you say to that?
Man, I
Because I think
think,
that's what they're kind of taught. Like, you'll always be an addict. It's just like replacing that addiction with XYZ.
yeah. I mean, dude, for one, I think that, if you're looking like AA and their platforms and the system they got, man, they're
Yeah,
unbelievable, right? Like, the way it's all structured and set up. And I can't speak to how they structure and set it up. I just know that there's no way you can outperform the identity you give yourself.
that's
And so
good.
if you're going to label yourself as a certain way, your behavior is not going to go any contradict that. It's
Yeah,
going to fall in line with that, right?
that's good.
And so, I mean, that's like that old quote that says like there's two people. One that says I can do it, we can do it. The other person says I can't do it, we can't do it. They're both right. It's just who do you choose to be? I think too many people are walking around speaking the language and expecting the life to look different than the language we're speaking.
That's good.
And it's like, man, you just got to get some who goals. Like, who do you want to be in 2025? So if you say, man, my goal is to be fit, well, what does a person that's fit look like? What is the fit you have to do, right? What's their identity? So maybe that's the person that is disciplined. Maybe that's the person that has delayed gratification. Maybe that's the person that is driven, because maybe those are the things that you feel like you're lacking that's allowed you not to be fit.
Yeah,
Well, then a who goal could be, man, I'm disciplined. I go the extra mile. I practice delayed gratification, and I'm a driven individual that's going after the goals of my life, and I seek and I will accomplish them. Like, that's a who goal. So I think one of the things that you got to unpack in 2025 as we get into this, because man, we're a couple weeks out. This is when you do it. Like, you do it now, man. You get to January 1st and you're looking up, and now it's like, now you're trying to fight against it. It's already January 1st. Like, you want to prime your mind and your heart right now to set yourself up for the year that you're going to desire to put in place. And so I think who goals are so important. I would just encourage everybody that you want to put those in place, because that's going to help you alleviate the number two reason that's going to really take you out and going after these goals and developing the habits, which is identity,
yeah.
false identity.
Well, I think it's so important too. You got to keep that identity in front of you, because dude, it's easy for everyone to be motivated right now. Like going into the new year, it's like, yeah, this is my who goals. It's up on my vision board, but you got to keep it in front of you. Like, you got to continually say this stuff. You got to be reminded. You got to affirm it, because if not, we forget, man. Life comes and smacks you in the face, and it's easy to say something, but when you don't feel something, that's this tension that we live in, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I say it, but I don't feel it. Well, we don't live by our feelings, right? We live by faith, and so we gotta. And faith comes by hearing, right? So if you want to be that fit person, then you got to say it, and then not just feel it, right? But you got to hear it, and then after you hear it for a while, then you'll actually become it, by creating the habits and disciplines to walk in that. And so keep it in front of you. Like, I'm not a big vision board person, but I am a big vision person, if that makes sense. So I don't have like a board in my house where I got like a boat and a mansion.
You're right. Yeah.
But it's in my mind, you know what I mean? And I constantly speak vision, like over my family, over the church. Like, I'm constantly talking about like what is, because I know that we're never called to be complacent.
Yeah.
Like, we're never called to just settle. Like, we're never called to just arrive somewhere. I was telling Mariah like the other week, because we got a lot of big dreams. Like, we got goals. Like, I'm talking about like with the kids, and like what their dreams are there. And Mariah said something about like when we get there, then we finally can. And I don't know exactly what it was, but I was like, no, like we're already living the dream. Like this is like this day right here is like what we're trying to get to. Like, we got our family, we got our friends, we got to like, yeah, can you get to a bigger house, a better whatever? I was like, of course, but like, don't overlook like where you're at right now.
That's
Kind of
good,
thing.
dude.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the dream. Like, look around. Like, everything we want and desire is here right now. It's just like, but so there's this weird tension, right? Because at the same time, you are supposed to like grow, and so like we got to fight that, not being too comfortable, but also like knowing that there's more in store. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does, man. I think it's contentment over comfortability,
Yeah.
right?
So like always keeping the vision, like, hey, we got to go for more, but then at the same time being
Rejoicing
present
in the
right
get,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I think the one thing I'll say, and we'll go into the last one is I think we overestimate these small good decisions,
Yeah.
and we overestimate how unwise small decisions can impact where we're trying to go. And I think it's a lot about what you're talking about, dude. Like, really just still being excited in the journey, realizing all these little things. Like every time you do something that's in line with your who goal, you're kind of casting a vote for that new identity.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight, man. But if you say, man, I'm the person that's disciplined, focused, and I'm going to go to the gym, and then you go to the gym, man, you just casted a vote. And then the next time you cast a vote, and it's just one meal at a time. If you just ate the breakfast, right, and it was
Why you always
healthy and
bring up the
whole.
gym, dude?
Well, dude, you've been going, bro. You look
Trying,
good.
man.
Man, I walked
Trying.
by. I was like, man, look at them arms, dude. I was impressive. So I was like, he's looking good.
Trying,
But it's just a small little things.
all upper body.
Yeah. You and me both, dude. Yeah, Tosh is like, that's why we do the podcast sitting down. If we stood up, we lose all credibility. You guys would be like, we're out of here. We'd unsubscribe and baby legs.
Yeah.
But man, it's important, dude. Those small decisions make a difference. And I want to just add one thing to what you said, Brian, because it's so powerful, dude. It was so good. Like with your family, man. Like get your family involved with these goals and where you're going, and get some who goals for your family, man. Like I got some things about the family. Like I got a whole list of notability that says like, our family are givers, right? Our family are servers. I think we have a whole thing. And so once a week we pick one of those. And I just start talking about it. Like I'm like, hey, McClain's are servers. We serve people. We look for a reason, and we look for a need, and we fill it. We look for a hurt, and we heal it. Like we're servers, and I communicate that throughout just that week. And the next week it's something else. It's some kind of other who goal. Like you said, dude, there's a great separation between what I'm saying and what I'm seeing a lot of times. Yeah. Like I'll be like, we're servers, and Penelope's like, don't touch my stuff. Like that was a big old fight, and it's like, I just told you we're servers, right? But the reality is it's planting seeds, man.
100%.
And sometimes we don't realize that it's making a massive difference because we don't have the contrast in front of us. Like if we could all of a sudden live a whole nother redo of that year and do all those things or not do all those things, then we realize like, man, that did make a difference. I didn't think it made a difference because my kids are still dysfunctional. I'm still not where I want to be financially. I'm still not. Oh yeah, it still made a difference, right? And so kind of talk a little bit about that. Like if the small little things done consistently, how massive of a difference they make, and not undervaluing the small unwise decisions, how detrimental they can be. Because I think this is the third reason why we miss it.
Yeah, I think it's Pastor Craig Rochelle. He says, don't underestimate small, wise daily decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That like don't underestimate how valuable they are. Like it's day one at the gym, it's day one eating the meal, it's day one reading your Bible, it's day one listening to a podcast, it's day one investing in the business. You don't see any fruit yet. Like you don't see the result of your labor yet, but every good farmer knows that there's seed time and there's harvest time. Like if you're in the beginning of anything, don't have a false expectation that you're going to enjoy the fruit of your labor when you're just beginning. And so, but at the same time, that the seed has to be thrown on good soil, right? And so that comes back to the identity, like who you are. So you got to be, number one, working on yourself, but like you got to have an awareness that maybe for you this is seed time, and you got to cast the seed. And sometimes when you have seed, like dude, seed's bitter. If you ever try to eat it, it doesn't taste good. It'll make you sick. But when a farmer plants a seed, like that seed essentially dies for a moment and becomes something else. But you got to water it. And I just think that too many people have an expectation of fruit right away, of success right away, of the end result right away, and they forget that there's a process that they got to go through, right? And that process is the small daily decisions that you don't see results right away, but then like you said, you look back over a year and you go, wow, I really did lose that weight.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't ever feel like you're losing weight when you're losing weight, but it's when it's dude, I can tell when people feel good about themselves when they throw up the before and after. It's like you had to feel like in that moment you're like, dude, I killed it.
Yeah.
But you probably didn't even know it until you put contrast there,
It's good.
When it comes to like your faith, it's like, dude, you're going to church every week, you're in your Bible, you're praying, like you're growing this relationship with God. You're not going to see necessarily like quote unquote result every day until you get in a storm, and then you go like, dude, I just got peace.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really explain it, but I just have like this almost like a weird confidence. I can't really like, yeah, like the Goliath is standing there, but like, dude, I just feel like I'm prepared to
Yeah.
fight. Like you, but during every day when things are normal, you don't have that feeling. It's kind of just like, I don't know. I went to church, it was good, but like on to the next, right? But it's when you
That's
have
good.
something to contrast against, it's like, dude, I have come a long way. Like I didn't give into that temptation. I didn't, stress out. I didn't yell. So don't underestimate like the small good daily decisions, like um waking up early and praying, or getting in the gratitude journal, or whatever it is. Like we all know the right things to do. It's not like we're ignorant to like health,
Right.
because we're not. It's just we have to choose to do them despite no matter the outcome on that day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
And go ahead.
When I was just gonna say, man, like, dude, I think that like what you're talking about, Brand, this is where, like, I think the enemy works in distortion, discouragement, um, and I think that this is the distortion part, right? Like, and if you know the person's strategy, right? It's no different than like, that I can't remember what World Series, Frank, you might know. Was it the Texans that were cheating or the
Houston
Astros?
Astros.
Astros, right?
Cheaters.
It's like, dude, like if they knew what was coming, they've got a significantly greater chance to have the victorious outcome, right? And I believe it's the same thing for you, man. Like if you understand, like as you're stepping in this year, the enemy's going to try to distort the fact that when you're doing these small wise decisions, dude, they're adding up, and at the end of the year, it's going to change your life. But in the moment, like you said, Brenda, that 30-minute workout doesn't feel like it's going to change anything, right? That one day night a week doesn't seem like it's going to change everything. Starting to drink a gallon of water a day, it's like, I don't know if it's changed everything, but you're starting to all those things, man, is starting to replenish your mind, replenish your body, replenish your spirit. Dude, it's going to make a difference. And then even the unwise decisions, like a lot of times that distortion is, oh, it didn't matter that much, right? I just missed one service. I just missed. Hey, we're all going to do it. Be clear. Like nobody's gonna nail it all. But when you start to tell yourself that it's no big deal, and it's like it is what it is, well, then if it's not a big deal, there's no value behind it. I'll just do it again. And then before you know it, you're the person that used to do jiu-jitsu, and then you stop, right, Brand?
I ain't going there, bro.
But that's the way it works.
It's part
That's
of
the
my
way it works, man. So, and we all do it, right? So if you're aware of it, you can't defeat what you can't define. Well, let's define it, baby. All right, let's go through real quick. Let's talk about how to make a habit stick, right? So we got to make it small.
Okay.
We got to make it easy, and we got to make it automatic. And so let's finish here. Make it small. Talk about that a little bit. Like, how do you make the habit small and not make it so big where it's just audacious? You don't want to take the step. How do you make, if somebody wants to lose 80 pounds, if somebody wants to save 100 grand, if somebody wants to do these things, how do they make the habit small?
Yeah, that's good. I think when I was like coming up in my journey, like to be an entrepreneur, I remember I used to go on walkthroughs with my dad. I think I told the story before, but we used to go like walk these facilities and put in bids to like clean these offices. And I remember going on this one place, and there was probably like 20 other companies. Like it was a county bid, like a bunch of people. And to me, I was like 16. I'm overwhelmed. Like, dude, this is a lot. And my dad was like, "Hey, do you know how we're gonna clean this place?" And I was like, "I got no idea. We're gonna need like 100 people. We're gonna need all this staff." He's like, I went on and on, all the list, how many hours. He's like, "Nope." I was like, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "One toilet at a time. One toilet. We're gonna clean it one toilet at a time." And I think most people are like me, overwhelmed, right? Thinking like, dude, I gotta read the Bible. I gotta lose 80 pounds. No. Just one day at a time. Like hey, one chapter at a time. Like if you've never read, don't think you got to read the whole Bible this year. Like relax. Just read one like verse
One
a day.
verse a day, yeah.
Start there. You know. If you want to go to the gym, like don't think you got to join like no shade to CrossFit. Like don't think you got to go do CrossFit today. Like just show up somewhere. Or don't think you got to be, the expert or something. Just make it small, make it manageable, make it something that you're not currently doing, but it's in a step in the right direction. Like if you've never gave, like don't think you got to give big, just give small right now. I like one pastor, he always preaches from this series. It's called Dream Big but Start Small. And I just think it's a wise saying. Like have a big dream, have a big goal, have a big aspiration, but start small. Make it manageable. Um, I'm trying to think of. I mean, it's just super practical.
Yeah,
You
dude. I
know?
mean, that's the thing. Take the pressure off you, right?
Yeah.
I love that story, by the way, man, and I think that's applicable for everybody right now. Is like, one of it. It's like if I want to be more productive, just like don't hit snooze in it. Like if you just didn't do that, like I know I went into a season this last year for like about a month, dude, where I was on like a snooze season, bro. Like I started hitting it, and I realized as got away from reading my nighttime affirmation, dude. And as weird as it sounds, man, I'm telling you, if I read it, bro, I don't hit snooze, and it's just, and we'll post it, dude. It's actually, I mean, it's a thing I've written out that kind of just sets me up to really understand the value and how important it is to wake up tomorrow, and how detrimental it is if I don't without hitting
Yeah.
snooze. And I just stopped doing it. And the reality is the cleaner took the sheet, put it in my nightstand, right? And so I never took it back out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like a month in, like, dude, why am I like, getting up 20 minutes later and hitting snooze and stuff, man? I feel like a freaking loser. Like, what's wrong with me, And then I
Very
start,
blessing.
yeah, and then exactly, but that's how it is. You want to make it easy, like pull it out and just like wake that one little thing. Me reading it at night, that spurred a whole like rhythm of habits.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing my gratitude in the morning. I'm not rushing to get to the first thing I got to do with work and business, right? Like it just helps set the tone to get me going. And so, that's how you can make it simple. Is just like, man, just don't hit snooze. That could just change your life. If you're a snooze hitter, just don't hit snooze, and I promise you your whole year will be better, right? If you're like, man, I want my dental hygiene to be better, just floss one tooth. That one tooth will be better for the whole year. You know what I mean? In the next year, you'll be motivated because, man, why does that tooth look so much better? Well, you flossed it all last year. Like, make it simple, right? Make it easy, and then make it automatic. So automatic would be like, once I do this, I do this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have anything like that, like where one is kind of a precursor for the next habit or next discipline you do? Like, once I do this and I do this.
Yeah. Once I make coffee in the morning, then I go in my office and I pray. Like that's just my
That's
little
it.
in the morning. So I go, like, dude, I hit the little button on the coffee and then I go straight to my office. I let that brew. I go in there and pray. I flip open my scripture where I'm going to be. It's usually done. I go back in there, I grab my coffee, then I go back in my office and I read. I pray, I read, I throw in worship, and then Mariah's up doing her thing. So that's just like a 15 minutes. Like it's not anything crazy. It's not study time. It's
Yeah.
not like prepare a sermon time. It's just like, dude, this is my morning time. I throw on like worship background music. It's like I'm not trying to hear someone sing a song because my mind will go a million different places. Like I just put on like a little piano pad in my office. I have my Bible open. I just pray for a little bit. Like I'll just read the chapter of the day, and that's it. Like that's just to get my day going, So like once I make the coffee, then I go do that. What
That's
about you?
good. No, 100%. And for anybody that's looking to add a habit, like it's if there's something new you're trying to, maybe you're thinking, you've been going through this, like, what's the biggest habit that I can put in place that's going to help me elevate in these areas that matter most, right? And you kind of start going through faith, fam. So whatever that is, if you can make it automatic by tying it to a habit you've already got. Like you already wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, you might be hitting snooze or not, but either way, you eventually get out of bed. So what do you do when you get out of bed? You've already got a routine. What is it, right? If it's like I go make coffee, and you've not been spending time in prayer, and you're like, man, one thing I want to make sure I do to level up my faith this year is to pray. Well, then you just write it down. After I wake up, I make my coffee. After I make my coffee, I pray. And so now you habit stack. And so now it's a lot easier to before you're like, I just want to start praying. Well, that's too vague, right? If it's too vague and not specified, if it's not structured, if it's not in the schedule, it ain't going to happen. And so whatever that is, look at that. Maybe it's like, I want to read 10 pages at night, right? I want to start reading 10 pages of a personal growth book at night. But or you just say, I want to read 10 pages. I would stack it. So like, what do you do when you get into bed? If you say, well, right when I get into bed, I turn on Netflix and I look for 15 minutes and don't watch nothing, right? But if you get into bed and you turn on the remote to watch Netflix, well, then you could put, once I get into bed, I read 10 pages of a good book, then I put on Netflix. Well, you just habit stacked it, and so now you're significantly more likely to do it, and then make it obvious. Have the book out on your nightstand. Like, make it visible. If it's like, dude, I want to start working out, well, then say, after I get out of bed, I make my coffee, I pray for 10 minutes, and then I put on my shoes and I go to the gym. And then have your shoes right next to the area that you're going to go pray at, and have your outfit there. Dude, it's these little things that when distraction comes in, all of a sudden you're busy and your mind's going in multiple different directions. It's a habit stacking that actually makes the discipline live long enough to become a new habit for you.
That's good.
Right?
Make it small, make it easy, make it obvious.
Make it automatic.
Make it automatic. I like it. It's good, dude.
Well, guys, hey, share this.
I'm already thinking of stuff for next year. What I
I
have
am
to
too,
change, what
bro.
I gotta do.
Hey, the one thing we'll talk about this next week, man. Start looking at your schedule and taking a look at what day. It could be a couple days. For me, I have 3 days, but maybe just one day that you go through your schedule from last year and you start to like just really kind of analyze it.
Yeah.
You interrogate the reality of your year. You go through your photos, right? Like, man, what were some big wins, some big accomplishments? What were some time wasters, some lessons learned? And you really kind of don't know unless you kind of inspect it.
Yeah.
And you can't expect what you don't inspect. If I expect a great 2025, man, I better inspect my 2024 to make it the best year yet. And so, guys, start putting together a day in your calendar. Just plan it out. And then next week, we're going to unpack what that looks like to be able to structure it. Hey, last thing, the one thing that I think will really kind of help put this together, and we're going to launch it January 1st. We've talked about it the last couple episodes, is a Leveled Up Life app. It's a morning discipline journal app. And really the intention, guys, is I understand how many times I've struggled. I'm the guy that's always kind of trying to put myself in a position to learn and get around people that are killing it and glean from them. So there's been many times where I'm like, man, where I want to be and where I'm at, there's such a big gap that I've got discouragement. I feel like I'm not good enough, and I've got these desires, but too often those desires didn't come to pass because I didn't have a good framework. I didn't have a good tool or structure to do it. And so after messing it up and failing and screwing it up for so long, I kind of finally got it dialed in, and I put together this app to give you the framework for that. So in this app, we talked about the gratitude, we've talked about the affirmation part of it, but we also got a habit tracker in there. So you can list the habit you want. You can set a reminder, and maybe that's at 7 o'clock. I want to pray every morning. You get a reminder at 7 o'clock that says make sure to pray. You got to go in and check it. So it actually helps keep some kind of accountability with the habit that you're trying to create. So that's coming out soon. We'll definitely shoot out some information about the launch of it, which will be January 1st. And so let's continue to go out there and be strong and steadfast and going after the next levels in our life, man, because it matters a lot. It matters more than you think it does, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Love you guys.
All right, see you guys. Take care.